What's up guys, Maelstrom here. If you enjoyed the video then like, subscribe and leave a comment down below so I can keep on making these awesome videos for you guys. Chapter 1. Naruto had just pulled a prank and was currently running from Chunin and a few ANBU. What was the prank, you might ask? He set off a stink bomb in the Inuzuka clan kennels. Luckily, one of his friends got the drop to not be there when it went off, and he was currently walking around when Naruto passed him. Ninja still on his trail. Hey Kiba. By Kiba. He landed and jumped away too quickly for a response. Kiba saw this, and then the ninja following him went by, and Kiba instantly realized what happened. He just hit my home, didn't he? Well, at least he told me not to be there. I wonder what he hit it with. Naruto then got away from them the moment he entered the forests. Traps went off left and right, and the ANBU themselves lost him. Naruto had taken that chance to get away. After 10 minutes of trying to lose them in the forest, he found a clearing. Okay, what is this place? I know every inch of this forest, and not once have I seen this place. It was a beautiful area, filled with flowers. He seemed at peace here. Why do I feel this way? I know I shouldn't relax. The villagers don't like me. Still, something's telling me to go further in. He did what the feeling was telling him to do. He followed it to a waterfall in the area. He went towards the waterfall, and it got stronger the closer he got to it. Yeah, there's definitely something about that waterfall. But why does it feel safe? I've never been here before. He went to the side of the waterfall, and found there was a cave behind it. The moment he went in the cave, he saw it was even more beautiful than it was outside. To think the tip of the iceberg was outside. This is unreal. He walked around and took everything in. The scent of the air, the flowers, the cottage. Wait, cottage? There was a small cottage in the cave, directly in the center. Does that mean someone lives here? He walked up to it, and was about to knock, when he felt like he should know who stays here. Instead of knocking, he grabbed the handle and opened the door. He went in and found it extremely dusty. This place looks like it hasn't been used in years. He coughed a bit. Before looking around, he found a library, and figured that if there was one place to figure out why the place seemed like he should know about it, this was the place. He went through books and scrolls. Then he found something with a note on it. He picked it up and read the note. To whoever finds this place, if you made it here, then that means you have Uzumaki or Namake's blood. Only one with either of those bloods flowing through their veins could find the clearing, and then the waterfall. This place was supposed to be kept a secret, and since both clans had very few numbers, only one on record for each in the area, then we figured that only my son would be able to get here, as he has both Naruto Uzumaki or Naruto Namake's. If either of those happens to be your name, then everything in this cottage, the clearing, and the cave, belongs to you. However, if you have to read this, then that means I'm dead, and so is your mother. As such, this is your inheritance. In this book is something no one else knew about. Only myself and my wife, though she was kept secret from all but a few, knew about it. If neither of us are alive, then I am sorry for what happens to my son, who is still not born when I write this. I can only imagine how I went out. Anyway, if I am not alive, and neither is his mother, then he will find everything about both clans here in this library. Naruto, I am sorry if you have to read this to find out about me like this, and I hope you can forgive me, should I not be around. Just know a few things. No one knows what a Byu is capable of, and if Kushina is not around, then it is likely that the Kiwabi no Kitsune has escaped and did something. As a seal master, I would have to do something about that. This book has my secret research in it. I would like for you to go through it. Take every word inside to heart. You are my legacy. I can only hope that you manage to find your way, and everything is okay. By the way, if you are truly my son, and your mother is dead, then it is likely that I did something I will regret for eternity, and that would be sealing the Kiwabi into you. If I did, then there is a jutsu in this library that will help you immensely. Look for the Shadow Clone Jutsu. It took me a few days to master it. See how fast you can. Anyway, there are a few things I should say. I am sorry if I was not there to see you grow up. I'm sorry that I will have to leave you alone if I did. There is no excuse for abandonment, but sacrificing your life to make sure your only son lives is one thing I would do in a heartbeat. I only hope that doesn't come to pass. Should you wish to be a ninja, take your time. Push yourself forward no matter what stands in your way. Never give up. Stubbornness is a usual Uzumaki trait, but don't let it get out of hand. Find a nice girl, help those that need it, and learn to control your chakra. It's bound to suck ass. It always does for an Uzumaki, and a Namikaze. Combining both will only make it worse, and being a Jinchuriki would put it so far off that it would usually be close to impossible to control as good as anyone. One more thing. If neither your mother, nor myself, are alive, then keep using your mother's surname. The Uzumaki clan was supposed to be eradicated, so no one would believe you to be a threat, as others would likely forget about them. I am too well known, so if neither of us can protect you from my enemies, then until you are Chunin in rank, don't let anyone know about. Sincerely, Minato Namikaze, husband of Kushina Uzumaki, and future father of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto finished reading it once and was shocked. This can't be. There's no way I can be the son of the Yondaime. That's just impossible. He read it again, and noticed that he read every word correctly. It can't be true. But if it is, then that means I'm last of two clans. Hey, payback's a bitch. I can only think that Gigi kept it a secret for the same reason that he did. My father's enemies would all come after me, and it would make things even worse. If that's the case, then they thought like mind. He took the note, and pocketed it. He then started reading the book the note was on. It was titled My Secret Research on Chakra Theory. Below this it had the words, "For my son's eyes only." For the next few days, he was reading the same book. This stuff is amazing, and I can actually understand it all. It's as if he knew how I would think. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's tower, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandaime Hokage, was looking for Naruto with his crystal ball. He was having no luck with it, and Iruko came in. "Lord Hokage, please tell me you found him." "Unfortunately, I haven't. His location escapes even my ball. I could find him anywhere inside Fire Country, even into the neighboring nations. There are only two places he couldn't be found in that entire area. Only one is nearby. Unfortunately, not even I can enter that place. The other one, he wouldn't be able to reach without me noticing his absence beforehand. Even for a ninja it would take 2 days, maybe 3. Guy is the only one who could reach that one in less than 24 hours, and even that is pushing it." Sarutobi told him. "If that's the case, then how can he enter it?" Iruka asked. "My only guess is he found it by accident and is currently finding out whatever he can. It once belonged to his parents, who are both dead. Only one with either of their blood in them can reach the area. As such, Naruto is the only one that can enter it. If he were dead, I would be able to find his body." "Then I shouldn't worry unless a body is found?" Iruka asked, suddenly hopeful. "It would seem to be the case," Sarutobi said, right before he caught notice that Naruto had just appeared. "Wait, I found him, and it's just as I thought. He was at his parents' place, Iruka, the northern forests. He's in that area. Go to him, and ask him what he's been doing." Iruka nodded, and left immediately. Iruka quickly found Naruto. "Naruto Uzumaki, what are you doing?" "Iruka-sensei?" Naruto asked. "Nothing much. Just learning as much as I can about my parents. Also, I found out why I can't do a normal clone." "Oh? What did you find out?" "Well, for one, my control sucks ass. I wouldn't be able to perform a normal clone to save my life. The reason is my godlike reserves. Anyone else would be happy for that. I'm not, since I have little to no control over it. Found something that could help with that, and I'm using it right now. It also makes a good substitute for the clone jutsu. And to think it only took me 4 hours to master it. Apparently, control has no effect on this one." "You do realize you had me worried, Naruto," Iruka said. "Lord Hokage wasn't even able to find you." "No surprise there. Only an Uzumaki or Namikaze can get into the clearing. No one else could find it, much less the cottage my parents had there," Naruto told him. "I really need to talk to Gigi about something important, and I don't think it's a good idea to say anything about it to you, either." "No offense, Iruka-sensei, but this is something I need clarified before I tell anyone, and even then I might not tell anyone. Safety precaution, you know." "I didn't think you could talk like that," Iruka said, completely impressed. "How'd you get that good?" "Like it? I guess that's why the clone did some good. Anyway, I have to get to Gigi, and if he's looking at me right now, I can only say one thing. It has to deal with my parents." His face went expressionless when he said that. This is something that no one but he has the answer to. As such, I would think that he could tell me. He then smiled at Iruka. "By the way, you're only talking to a clone, Iruka-sensei." Later he jumped off, Iruka jumping after him. In the Hokage's tower, Sarutobi was surprised at this revelation, and immediately went to his office. Iruka and Naruto entered not even a minute after he got there. "Iruka, Please leave. I'd need to know about Naruto's parents. I owe him that much. Iruka told him. He's like a brother to me. I need to know why they abandoned him. They didn't abandon me. Naruto said. I finally know the truth of who my parents are. Now I need to know why you never told me. So, you are aware of how they died? Sarutobi asked, fearing the answer. I don't know the exact details, but I do know that my mother died for reasons I shouldn't say, and my father died to prevent that reason from causing too much trouble. In the end, they both died the day I was born, sacrificing themselves so I could live happily, Naruto said. Sarutobi nodded. Iruka, I still think you should leave before we go any further. I'm afraid I'm going to have to decline, Lord Huckage. Iruka told him. I care for Naruto like I would a little brother. You can't change my mind on that. Naruto would have made a surprised face if he didn't work on that. Sarutobi just nodded and activated privacy seals. Remember, Iruka, what you are about to hear, no one else can know. Naruto, you are correct. They didn't abandon you. They did, in fact, die the day you were born. Since no one else can hear us, now I can say what I believe your father would say if he saw the way you were treated. Sarutobi sighed. This village is filled with idiotic bastards that can't tell the difference between a jar and a male. Naruto snickered at that. Considering the fact I already know about him, I'm actually inclined to agree. Sarutobi paled at that. By the way, he told me more about my mother than I know what to do with. Helps when he was sealed in her. How do you know you can trust it? Sarutobi asked. Well, he doesn't have a reason to lie. He doesn't like his current position, but at least he somewhat accepts it. He's seen my entire life so far and you would not believe what he said after that. Naruto told him. What are you talking about? Sarutobi asked, a little curious. Flashback. Naruto found himself in a sewer that first night, when he went to sleep. What the? I thought I was in my parents' old cottage. Why am I in a sewer? He started wandering around, and came up to a gate. Naruto looked at the gate. Alright. Who are you, and where am I? Do you not see the tag on this gate? A gruff voice said. I see that, and it means you were sealed. It doesn't explain where we are, and who you are. Naruto told the being, that had yet to show itself from the shadows. Well, this is your mind. If you're smart you'd be able to figure out the rest. Naruto took a few seconds to figure out what the being said. Then his eyes widened in realization. You're the Kiwabi no Kitsune, aren't you? Naruto questioned. And this is how my mind interprets the seal, isn't it? You're not as dumb as you look, kid. The shadow then gained a form. Yes, I am the Kiwabi. And yes, this is the very seal keeping me within you. Now why have you come here? I was hoping you could answer that question. I don't have a clue, Naruto admitted. I went to bed, and found myself in here. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I already know of your father's strength in sealing. It would take over a decade to break out of this prison. Why not ask a few questions? Naruto thought about a few things on his mind. Okay, the first thing you thought about, that was not my doing. Not entirely. Anyway, the second question you came up with, I don't know much about your father, but being sealed in your mother, I know everything about her. Too nice for her own good, but when she was pissed off. Let's just say that it was worse than the night you were born, and leave it at that. Okay, are you reading my mind or something? Naruto asked. This is your mind. Kiwabi shit dropped. As such, all your thoughts get projected to my ears. Now for your third question. I don't know much about your life, as I only get bits and pieces of your memories. So you don't know what happened for the last 12 years of my life? No, nothing of value anyway. Care to talk about it? I'm doing you one better. I'm giving you full access to my memories. Just don't cry to your mother when you see them, Naruto told him. Oh please. There's nothing that could make me do that, Kiwabi said, before the images rushed him. After all that, he opened his eyes, and Naruto could literally see the rage. Those foolish humans. And they have the nerve to call me a demon? Not even I would treat children that badly. Naruto was a little scared at that little outburst. Kiwabi turned his eyes to Naruto. Naruto, I don't pity you. In fact, I envy you. No one, human or demon, could go through everything you did in life, and still hang on to his sanity as much as you have. Especially with what you went through. Those humans are too damn ignorant to tell the difference between a jar and a male. I'll do everything in my power to help you, sealed or not. If anything, those damn humans are worse than I am. And they wonder why demons and humans never get along. Naruto was silent. Then he spoke. Okay, why is this? Kit, for now, don't worry too much. You need to show them you are not me. I'm almost positive that Kashino would agree with me when I say that Minato should have let the village burn. The way they treated you, aside from Akiraku, Iruka to a point, and Sarutobi, is at least 30 times worse than I did to your village. If you were anyone else, you'd already be dead. Flashback over. At first I was a little skeptical myself, Naruto stated after he finished. The next day, I found one of my mother's diaries, and found that everything he said was in there, aside from a few pieces that I don't think I should repeat. Sarutobi and Iruka looked at him in shock. I can tell you're both shocked at this. Let me tell you, it was extremely shocking to me as well. At least I knew he wasn't lying. I would have been able to tell. And so far he's made good on his word. Iruka was speechless. Sarutobi composed himself quickly. Though I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Kiwabi and I seem to think the same thing. Minato should have just got out of there, and let the village burn. This begs the question, though. What do you plan to do with this information? Naruto grinned his foxy grin. Prove them wrong. Iruka and Sarutobi were a little surprised at this. It wouldn't do much good to run away from a threat. My father wouldn't do that. Neither would my mother. I have to live up to their reputations. For that reason, I've been learning everything I can from their cottage. I still am. In fact, you do realize you still have to go through the academy, right? Iruka said. Do you think it would be a good idea to have me learn in a place where the majority of the teachers would rather have me dead, and stunt my growth, or would it be better for me to learn in a place that I actually can learn the right way? I've learned more in the last 2 days than I could ever learn in the academy. I was gone for 5 days. What does that tell you? Naruto asked. I just wish to see how you were learning. Maybe help you in ways that would work. The other teachers are idiotic fools, Iruka said. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to get there. I can make that possible, you know, Naruto said, shocking them both. What do you mean? The Namikaze and Uzumaki blood requirements are only the default setting for the space-time barrier jutsu. If I had his blood, I could allow him to enter it, but only him. Not his parents, nor his children. Only him. If I trust them with all my heart and soul, they couldn't get in without that one piece. I already know how to pull it off, but it seems that there are 2 others that were allowed in this way. My father's sensei, and one of his students, since 2 had died on a mission before it happened, he was the only one left. I already know who they are, too. At least, I know their names. Sarutobi looked at him. I already know where one of them is, and the other is not in the village. He has a network to maintain, so he can't be in the village much. Naruto nodded. Well, I've got some more things to read up on. 2 things to say. Use shadow clones for paperwork, and shadow clones rock. He then disappeared, turning out to be a shadow clone himself. Sarutobi stared at the spot Naruto was at, and blinked twice. The hell just happened? Shadow clone? Isn't that a Junin level forbidden jutsu? Why would he know about it? Did he say that he had an acceptable substitute for the clone jutsu? Iruka nodded at that. The shadow clone jutsu doesn't rely on control. With his potential reserves, he could make at least 1,000 and still fight. Junin could only make 20, maybe 30, 50 at most, but then they wouldn't be able to stay conscious after using a mere D-rank jutsu. And if he finds out about the memory transfer piece of it, that means he really could have learned everything from the academy, and then some in the past 5 days. Remember, no one is to know what you heard in here just now. Telling anyone will result in death. It will be considered an S-class secret. Iruka nodded. This conversation never happened. Agreed, Sarutobi said, before deactivating the privacy seals. You should get to your class, Iruka. Do not worry about Naruto. I am sure he will be fine. Back at the cave, Naruto picked up his head, as he got the memories of his clone. So I was right. Gigi knew of the risks, and he even agreed that the villagers were idiotic, ignorant bastards. Well, at least we know he's on our side. Your clone did not listen to Iruka's response to it, so why tempt it? I'd have to figure out if there was a way to reverse it before I go for it. He turned the page in his book. At least I have my inheritance now. I mean, really? My parents had that much money hidden away? Your mother, not surprised. She was the last supposed survivor of the Uzumaki clan. She would have everything that wasn't destroyed with her clan. Your father, I couldn't say, but I believe he's glad you have some good things regarding his techniques. Not to mention you've been working on the things he didn't finish. Yeah, I want to make them proud. Naruto told him. I want to finish what my father started, but I believe it would be a good idea to start sending shadow clones to the academy. You know, see how things progress. No, not a normal shadow clone. Instead, use a bit of my Yaoki for the clones, along with your own chakra. It should act like you would without any of this. Iruka and Sarutobi are the only ones who will know the truth. As far as anyone else knows, you were hiding to let it blow over. Good idea. Now, to work on that weapon my dad was working on last. He's already got the theory on it. The majority of my clones are learning to fight on the water, while the rest are reading up on things I should know. Naruto then went back to work on the cylinder that was in front of him. The idea was to seal it in the arm. Thing is, when unsealed, it would have to replace half of the forearm and the hand. At least he already has a seal that can do that. The only thing that needs to be completed is the weapon itself. He continued to tinker with the cylinder, and took his time to work on the specifics. He knew it would be tough, but he would do it. The next day, Naruto got up, ate breakfast. There was a plethora of food in the cottage, and he managed to get more while hunting and then made another shadow clone. He filled it with a little over 2% of the Kiwabi's Yaoki, and split his own chakra in half for it. It went to the academy, while he continued to train and work on his father's projects. He had about 100 shadow clones working on his taijutsu, set up in an overtake format. There were 5 defenders, and an equal amount of attackers for each one. All of this was done on the lake in the cave. Naruto had about 20 others continue to read books, while another 30 were helping with the projects his father had been working on. There was also about 50 others working on seals, figuring that they would be useful for what he was doing. This went on for a month, being as he finished working with a few of the projects at that point, so he decided to test them out. He had already tested out the cylinder on his arm, and found that the seal that was being used worked like it was supposed to. Now it was time to test it in combat. He came up to the clones that were sparring on the lake, not alerting them to his presence. He summoned his arm cannon on his left arm, and they still didn't notice. He fired a kunai with it, and took out a clone. Then they noticed what happened. Nice arm, boss. Charge. They all charged him and he used all the built-up experience to dodge and block. He punched a few of them, making them dispel, then dodged some more. He then fired a few more kunai and shuriken at the clones. After a while, he found that the weapons he fired from it were completely made of chakra. After he took them all down, he made another 50 clones and had them attack him. He dispatched them with ease, switching between his hand and shooting or beating them with his arm cannon. This thing is awesome, Kiwabi. Don't get too excited. There's the little matter of the scanner. We could scan the katana you have been practicing with. See if that works out. Good idea, Kiwabi. Naruto went back to the cottage and found the katana he used. He unsealed the arm cannon, and tried to scan the katana. He then tried to convert the arm cannon to the katana. Instead, what happened was the katana appeared in his right hand. The cannon was still there. That was unexpected. He looked to the place where the katana was beforehand. He found it was still there, so this was a duplicate made of his chakra. I know I just said it, but the arm cannon is fucking awesome. The human race may be filled with ignorance, hatred, and a bunch of other qualities I hate, but I will admit they had some pretty sweet ideas. Although, I don't think we should call it an arm cannon anymore. Remind me to think of another name for it. Arm cannon doesn't suit it now. What about Omega Buster? Where did that come from? I got quite a few names listed for things. The way I see it, Omega Buster happens to be the coolest out of all of them. What's the least cool that you've got? Comparison? I'd say it was Alpha Dog Brat. Omega Buster is better. How did you come up with it? I remember something about a weapon similar to the arm cannon. It was completely fused with the arm, but there was no way to transform it back to a hand. Omega is the last letter in an alphabet of some foreign language. Put that as it would be the last thing your opponent sees. As for Buster, well, the original weapon was called Mega Buster. I figured it should have something to resemble the name. Omega Buster it is, then. Naruto then sealed it back into his arm, and the seal disappeared without the usual smoke, a sound, or any indication of it being sealed. He took to trying to get it out within half a second. By the end of the day, he had managed to bring it out within a millisecond, and then noticed that his clone had dispelled. As usual, they tried to rig my tests. Naruto thought, when will they learn that it work for long? Humans, tell me about it. You do realize you're also a human, right? I don't fall under the category of humans. I'm Jinchuriki. Remember, a being that has another sealed within. Jinchuriki are not limited to humans, unless I'm mistaken. You've got a point there. You got nothing on a Hanyu, true demon, and you aren't really a normal human, as you've got me sealed inside of you. I rest my case. He then dispelled the clones, and was close to passing out in my eyes. He then got to his bed, and passed out cold. Naruto, you are one legacy more now. That of Minato Namake's, Kushina Uzumaki, and now, that of me. One day, you will make us all proud. I can only wait until the day you meet the rest of the Kitsune. Kiwabe thought before crashing himself. Naruto got up the next day. Kit, don't worry about training yourself today. You only have a week until graduation, so you should go there yourself. Leave a Yaoki clone and several hundred shadow clones here to work on things. You go to the academy in person from now on. You are not going to fail like you did the last 2 times. Are you sure about this? Naruto asked. He has grown accustomed to Kiwabe's weird suggestions, but this was far beyond the norm. Not completely, but I figure it's time we take the academy by storm. Or should I say, Maelstrom? I get it. Naruto replied. You think it's time I drop the mask, though not completely? Bring about the terror known as the Maelstrom of the Whirlpool? Couldn't have said it better myself. I try. Naruto told him before doing as asked, and leaving the place himself. Academy. Iruka entered the classroom, and wondered where Naruto's clone was. He was the only one in the loop about Naruto using a shadow clone to get through classes, and still work on the secret projects. This time, Naruto was not there, so either he woke up too late, or something happened. He then started roll call. Shino Abu. He was cut off when the door was blasted off its hinges, hitting one girl who was sitting next to Sasuke. Sorry I'm late. Iruka-sensei saw a black cat in my path, and had to take the scenic route. Hope you don't mind. Naruto said. By the way, did I hit anyone with the door? Yes, you did. But she'll get over it. He pointed to the seat next to Sasuke, and Naruto saw that it was one of his fangirls. I bet the Tem is happy I hit one of his fangirls by accident. Naruto said. Sasuke Uchiha, the last of the Uchiha clan, just grunted, but had a look in his eyes that said thank you to him. Naruto then went up to sit next to someone that he figured had some kind of crush on him. He sat down next to a lavender-eyed, violet hair, and somewhat baggy clothes. Hey Hinata, you mind if I sit here? The girl blushed heavily, and passed out. Naruto shrugged, got her back in her chair, and sat down himself. They went through the classes, and Naruto understood everything that was being talked about. When lunch came about, he took the time to hang out with Hinata. She was surprised he could cook, but in the end, she was happy he shared his huge lunch with her. She then asked him something that was on her mind, and, surprisingly, she didn't stutter with it like she did with everything else. Where exactly have you been training? I know you haven't really been listening to Iruka-sensei, but you always do good for almost everything. Hinata asked. It's a secret place I discovered after my last prank. I was trying to escape the ninja, got into the forest, and found my way into a place that only I can get to. 2 others may be able to, not completely sure, but I do know that the place is covered with a space-time barrier ninjutsu. And the puff of smoke that the one that attends the academy for the past few months. You've been stalking me, haven't you? Naruto raised an eyebrow at her, causing her to blush and stutter incomprehensibly. He chuckled in his mind at her reaction. Relax, I don't mind. You're one of the few that never did anything spiteful to me. Hinata nodded, her blush still present. What gets me though is why you're not like everyone else. They hate me to the core for something that isn't under my control. Something that I wouldn't have carried by choice. A massive burden that I can't seem to get past, and learn to live with. Hinata was trying to form an answer, and settled on one. She didn't stutter here either. I don't think they are right with what they say. There's something different about you. Until you started sending those weird clones to the academy, you always seemed to cry in your apartment. Around anyone else, you smile, but when you're alone, you let out everything you held in throughout the day. Why do you do that to people that don't respect you? Naruto was surprised. How long have you been following me around? She started sputtering nonsense, but he managed to make it out. So, a while is the best you can come up with? She blushed, but nodded. Well, apparently, you would have attacked some time ago if you wanted to. No. Her outburst caught the attention of everyone in the area. Naruto was a little shocked at that. He sent a few waves of killing intent towards the onlookers, avoiding Hinata entirely, and they turned their heads. Naruto, you are better than anyone else thinks. No one can compare to your strength. They don't see the hell you had to put up with for who knows how long. Every day I wondered just how far they would go before they were satisfied with their hatred and let go. Not once has it diminished, and more than once have I been tempted to hurt them myself. She told him, her voice stern and confident, completely unlike Hinata, but Naruto liked it. The only reason I didn't, is because I wouldn't have lasted long enough to take them all, and they'd end up hurting me instead. Naruto had let it sink in that she was with him all the way. Okay, I'm really confused here. I mean, I knew she was following me, at least from the Yaoki clone memories, but to think she had a crush on me, I didn't see that coming either. Roll with it, then. That's the best idea, for now. Naruto looked at Hinata, who went back to her shy persona. "Hinata, I'm glad you feel so strongly about it." She looked at him, shell-shocked. "Thing is, I wouldn't dream of taking them out. Instead, I intend to prove them wrong. Nothing gets by hard work." "I also noticed you didn't stutter once during all of that, and only showed determination, something that you seem to lack in anything else." Hinata looked at him, completely scared that he would reject her now. "And that's why I want to help you gain your confidence." What? Hinata was a little confused, but still shocked. "If you truly care about me like I figure you do, thanks to that outburst, I figure I can help you find your own confidence," Naruto continued. She just sat there, paralyzed. She didn't know what to say to that. "I'm no good." Why would you help me? "How do you think the Yondaime Hokage started out?" Naruto asked, confusing her with the reference. "He was an orphan, no clan, little heritage. Yet he became Hokage. There wasn't even a bloodline to note, since his parents were never truly known. He turned out to be one of the strongest ninja that ever lived. A clanless, no talent, loser managed to become Hokage. Our Sandaime was similar. He may have had a clan, but there was no bloodline helping him either. In fact, the only Hokage that actually had a bloodline was the Shoto, and that was his ability to use Mokuton. The Nidaime didn't manifest that bloodline, so he didn't really have one to boost his power." Hinata looked at him in awe. She didn't realize he had truly been smart, even with them trying to get him to fail. He then continued, "The answer is he was exactly like me. However, he once did have a clan, as did my mother. They're both dead, and their clans were both eliminated. Any survivors are currently hiding, and no one knows who they really are. He was weak, as was everyone when they start out. Those that have bloodlines and progress extremely fast are considered prodigies. Those that get strong without them, and rely on hard work and determination are geniuses. Then there are the true geniuses, like Shikamaru. Their IQ is far above anyone else, and tend to have some kind of quirk that makes them less desirable." Hinata thought about what he was saying. "What do I have to find a reason to get stronger? Someone that you want to help out, someone you want to protect, or maybe to prove others wrong. Whatever it is, it has to bring out the best in you whenever you remember it. Your determination is buried deep within. You have to be able to bring it out when you need it, and use it at will. In other words, you need something, or someone, to keep you going when you have nothing else to live for. A drive. That's the first step for anything. What keeps you on that path is what you should remember." Hinata thought about it. "There is something that would work. Then focus on it, and when all hope is lost, you will find strength you wouldn't believe you had beforehand." Naruto told her. "Come on, lunch is almost over. We should get ready for the next class." She nodded with a blush, and they ran off to the next area, where they had to spar with one of their classmates. Naruto got paired up with Sasuke, and sighed. "Yo, Tem, for this, why don't we forget pleasantries? You don't like me, and I don't like your attitude. So, let's skip everything else and get straight to the fighting. For once, me and you happen to be in agreement." Sasuke got into his family's taijutsu stance. Naruto just stood shoulder-width apart, right foot in front. Knees were bent at 120 degrees. His right hand had his pointer and middle fingers hooked, while his left hand was to his side, and behind him, all fingers outstretched. Iruka noticed his posture and chalked it up to a new taijutsu that Naruto created himself. "Everyone else, stop your spars and watch Naruto and Sasuke. It would seem to be a good one, if their opening stances are anything to go by." Everyone turned their heads to them, and Hinata was in a tree watching them. "Hey, Tem, how about a little wager?" Naruto asked. "What you got in mind, Dobe?" Sasuke replied. "I win. You go round and kiss 3 of your fangirls. French kiss." "My choice." "And if I win?" Sasuke asked. "I'll teach you a jutsu you wouldn't be able to learn otherwise, with a weapon you probably don't even know how to handle." Naruto said. "Deal?" "You better be ready to teach me the jutsu," Sasuke said, before charging. Naruto sidestepped his strike easily, and got back quickly. Sasuke was surprised at his reflexes, which were far beyond what he expected. He didn't let it get to him, and charged again. Naruto dodged lazily, and tripped Sasuke. Leaf whirlwind. Sasuke was about to hit the ground, when Naruto got under him, and kicked him up like a donkey. He was doing a handstand, surprising everyone that was watching. He then twisted on his hands, and jumped off with them, and landed with a knee in Sasuke's gut, causing him to release some saliva. No blood, but that could have been the case. Naruto then spun off and landed. "Had enough yet?" Sasuke got back up, and glared at Naruto. He was an Uchiha, an elite. He shouldn't be losing to a no-clan loser. Not by a long shot. Sasuke's voice was strained, but only Naruto and Iruka could tell. Let me tell you a little something about geniuses and prodigies. A prodigy can master what anyone else had already come up with. He copies others to get what he has. A genius creates new things that no one would dare try out, for the simple fact it was thought to be impossible. You are a prodigy, while I am a genius. This style is one I created on my own. Did you know that the Yondaime Hokage wasn't a prodigy? He fell under the genius category. He was an orphan. No clan to back him up. Yet he became Hokage. Why? Naruto asked. It's because he worked hard to get there. He had no bloodlines to note. Nothing that could help him in that regard. What does that tell you? Iruka was surprised at this. No one knew if the Yondaime had a bloodline or not. I know you better than you think, Sasuke Uchiha. There is one reason you want to get stronger. However, that reason is not enough to achieve your goal. Get your priorities straight. Then, and only then, can you reach the path to limitless potential. Yes, there is such a path, and I am following it. Sasuke was appalled that Naruto, the dead last, was on the path to limitless potential. He then figured it was a bluff. You're bluffing. There is no path like that for a doob like you. Am I? Naruto questioned. Or is it because I have no bloodline to take note of that allows me to follow it? Or if I do, is it because I don't care about my own bloodline enough that I completely ignore it? Everyone saw that Naruto was jabbing the Uchiha with his words, but Iruka silenced them before they could say anything. Hinata was hanging on every one word. No bloodline is all-powerful. There is always a drawback to it. Sometimes there are several. If one manages to play on that drawback and exploit it, what happens then? The Yondaime was one who realized this. I've even been looking through his personal records for the last month, with the permission of the Hokage himself. I've seen what he was working on, and even duplicated them. I finished a few projects that he himself wasn't able to finish. I even tested them out to see if they were to his expectations. And you want to know what I found out? Everyone was about to shout out that he screwed it up, before Iruka held up his hand to silence them. I found out that they did more than he expected. I actually have the finished product of one of them with me right now. I haven't used it, because it's mainly for ranged combat. He almost finished it, but he wasn't able to before he died. I took it, I analyzed every piece of it, and I finished what he started. In the end, it was a combined effort between the Yondaime and myself. The specifications he had only applied to ranged weaponry. Imagine my surprise when I used it to bring out a katana, and could still fight with it. There's at least 20 other projects that he never got around to testing out, and I've been working on those as well. Do you know what I'm saying here? Naruto asked. Sasuke charged headlong. Naruto jumped, did a front flip, and kicked him in the back of the head with his heels. You don't need a bloodline to be great. All you need is the right amount of determination, and a good reason to get where you're going. Your drive is the reason, and it brings out the determination. The drive itself will determine how much determination will come out. My drive led me to the path I am on now. Your path will lead you off the deep end, with no way back up. Sasuke was struggling to get up. Shut up. Why should I shut up when I'm right? My drive doesn't depend on killing one person, or many people. My drive is to protect. Why do I choose to protect? Because when you protect something you care about, you draw on power you never thought you'd ever have. This is a known fact, as I once saw a civilian, with no shinobi training, pull off a shunshin to protect her son. You'd be surprised how many people do things that would normally seem impossible for them when they want to protect someone or something precious to them. Sasuke charged him again, and Naruto got behind him and knocked him with a chop to the neck. Learn your place, was Naruto's last words before Sasuke lost all consciousness. Iruka-sensei, when he wakes up, make sure he remembers the little bet we had. I already have 3 inches mind, and he should know he would have to follow up or he would shame his clan name. Sasuke woke up a few hours later, Iruka right next to him. The next day, Sasuke followed up on his end of the bet. Naruto watched. Sakura, Haruno and 2 nobodies were chosen, and he saw them all. He still didn't expect what happened after the academy was let out. Sasuke had picked up Sakura, and they disappeared for a bit. Naruto found them quickly, though and managed to listen to them. Naruto had managed to obtain Hinata's blood sample that day, and managed to allow her into his home. The next day, her training would start. They were let out of the academy, and Hinata was grabbed by Naruto before he ran out. They made it to the northern forests, while Iruka followed them. The moment they both disappeared, Iruka was a little shocked. Iruka tried to get in, but found himself unable to. I don't believe it. He let in Hinata, but he didn't let me in. The kid is an enigma, but who would have saw this coming? Hinata saw the field of flowers and was in awe. So pretty. She began to admire the flowers, when Naruto led her to a waterfall. No offense, but why the waterfall? It's not the waterfall itself, but what's behind it. Naruto walked to the side, and showed her the entrance to a cave. When she looked around, she thought her mind was in heaven. Welcome to my home. If you thought the field outside was heaven, you wouldn't be able to call this the same thing and do it justice. Hinata just nodded in agreement. I don't see a single sign of training here, though. I know, Naruto said. This place has 4 training areas, to be honest. One has a massive lake, another a bunch of targets and dummies. The third one has a bunch of things that you'd be better off dodging. The fourth one, well, that's where I tested the Yandame's ideas. Well, except for one of them. I came up to the lake for that one. He started walking towards the cottage in the center. Come on in. She followed him inside, and was surprised at how clean it was. Welcome to the old home of the Yandame and his wife. Hinata stared at him as if he grew a second head. What do you mean? I thought this was your place. It is now. Naruto motioned to the stairs. There's something in the library that I figure you should see. It will explain everything, but you are not to tell anyone what you see. If word got out about me owning the personal possessions of the Yandame, all hell would break loose. Just you being here would be risky for this. I wouldn't tell a soul unless you said it was okay. I swear on my honor as a Hyuga. If I do tell, I'd gouge my own eyes out, which is a sin against the clan. Hinata told him. Naruto nodded and led her to the library. He walked over to the note that he found the first day. This is what I'm talking about. I found it my first day, mainly out of curiosity. The place was covered in dust, but the flowers outside were strangely maintained. Not a single wilted flower. He handed it to her, and she read it. She looked at him in surprise, and he nodded. She read it again, and was starting to cry. She dropped the note, and hugged him. I had no idea you would have to go through all that, she said, after a few minutes of hugging him and crying into his shoulder. I've accepted the fact that my parents aren't around, and even the fact that I keep the Kiwabi at bay, Naruto told her, rubbing her hair, trying to calm her down. Quick question. What would you say if the Sandaime and the Kiwabi himself actually agreed on something? Hinata looked at him. Like what? The villagers being idiotic, ignorant, and not able to see the difference between a jar and a male. Naruto told her. She thought about it, and nodded. I'd have to agree there. And then there's one other thing they agreed on, Naruto said, piquing her interest. It's the fact that my father should have left the village to rot, instead of sealing the Kiwabi. Kiwabi even said that the villagers treated me worse than he himself would have. Gigi was a little surprised at this, but agreed at that, too. Surprised me, at least. Hinata looked at him, and saw what he said was the truth. That's rough. A lot worse than what I saw myself. Your life has been hell, and not once have you retaliated. You have a stronger will than anyone else I know. That's an Uzumaki thing. Naruto shrugged. Stubborn to a fault. I'm not out to destroy them. In fact, I want to prove them wrong. With my parents as a reason to move forward, and the Kiwabi backing me up, I guess you can say I'm covered on my own. But there's one thing I'm missing. Someone I could trust my life to. One that isn't myself. He sat down on a chair. I need someone that I know I can trust. One that wouldn't care if I were a human, demon, Hanyu, or whatever. Hinata just looked at him. I wouldn't mind being that person. Naruto looked at her and smiled, causing her to blush. And that's what I was hoping you'd say. Naruto caught her off guard with that. That's why I took the liberty of allowing you in here. I had to take a chance and let someone in here. You were the first person that I've let in here since I found the place. My sensory abilities are far better than they were beforehand. My taijutsu, though not complete, is nominal. I've got quite a few ninjutsu, and even can help others adapt to taijutsu that normally wouldn't suit them. Hinata looked at him with surprise. You think you could help me with that? Which one? Naruto asked. Taijutsu. No matter how hard I try, I can't get the Jiken correct. The Hyuga clan hates me for the fact I can't even do the basic movements for it. Hinata admitted. Well, the Jiken is normally an earth-based taijutsu, meaning it's more for defense. An earth element user would be able to use it extremely easily. Any Hyuga that doesn't have earth as either their top affinity, or their second best, wouldn't be able to use it effectively without making an adaptation. Naruto told her, surprising her. Do you think that's why I can't get it? Hinata asked. I don't know. Naruto admitted before he got a box. But we can find out here and now. He took out a piece of paper. These strips of paper are extremely rare. They're like chakra paper, but instead of showing the most dominant, it shows the top 2 or 3. In Uzumaki clan specialty, I have wind, water and fire as my top 3. He pulled one out and handed it to her. They function the same way as normal chakra paper, so all you have to do is channel chakra into one. The moment she did so, it cut in half, with one half turning soggy. The other half managed to stay the same. Wind and water. Damn. Is there anything you can do with this? It will take a bit, but I figure we can handle it. The Jikin itself is usually earth-based. That means it's more defensive, and not much for offense. The lack of external wounds attributes to this fact. Wine is purely offensive, and hard as hell to control. It's more dangerous than fire, which is actually easier to control. Water is a completely balanced element, good for offense and defense. He inspected the piece of paper closely. It seems you have a greater affinity towards water than wind, so I'll start there. How can you tell? Hinata asked, curiosity the dominant thing in her voice. Naruto began to explain the pieces of each one. The piece that went soggy wasn't completely soggy, but water was almost literally dripping from it. Wind was pretty good, due to the somewhat fine cut, but the levels of each one, when scaled, would place water over wine. Did not know that. Not many do. In fact, that's a property that is lost to most. My wind affinity is almost godlike. It took me 2 days to master the first control exercise, and that's only with 100 shadow clones working at it for 6 hours a day. That's 600 hours a day. The second one I had to do outside, since I had to cut a waterfall with my chakra. Took me a week with 20 clones working on it for those same 6 hours. I'm actually glad that the Kiwabi knows about all the elements, and how to control them. Fire was extremely easy for me, but not as easy as wind. Water, I'm still working on the first step. For now, we should work on your control over your water chakra, and then implement it into your Jikin. Naruto went over to a shelf, and picked up a scroll. He tossed it to her, and she caught it. That's a D-rank water jutsu. Not dangerous, but it's good enough for the purposes we want it. Seeing she was confused, he continued. Don't just use the jutsu, feel it. Find that feeling, and it will make controlling water easier. I started out fire with a small igniter jutsu, a mere E rank. Figuring out how it works, and then applying that same feeling to the fire chakra training, I learned quickly. When you can learn that jutsu, and know how the chakra acts during the jutsu when done properly, use what you find to apply to your water chakra, and it should apply nicely. Hinata nodded. They went to the lake area, and both worked on the jutsu. Naruto then tensed up. Naruto, someone else is here, Naruto said, before creating a shadow clone to check it out. Outside, a man with gravity-defying hair, and a headband over his eye walked up to the waterfall. I never thought he'd find Sensei's old home, but that means that he's actually related to him somehow. Who are you, and why are you here? Naruto said, behind him. How did you manage to get in here in the first place? There should have been only 2 others alive that could get in here. Myself, and Jiraiya of the Sannin, the man said. So you're Kakashi Hatake, eh? My father's only living student. The man tensed, and Naruto smirked. Yeah, I already know the specifics of the barrier. Only one with Uzumaki or Namake's blood can get in here, aside from exceptions that only I can make. Jiraiya of the Sannin, and Kakashi Hatake already had the exception, and since you got in here without me even knowing who you are, that meant you are one of those 2. You're not the same student as the academy says you are. I learned more in 2 days here than I did in years in the academy. They tried to stunt my growth, and now they failed. Naruto shrugged. Anyway, since you were obviously trusted by my father, I believe you can come in. I've already got one guest, and I made the exception for her. Don't worry about restrictions involving the fox, because she already knows about it. They both went behind the waterfall, and the clone turned to Kakashi. We're both at the lake. If you want to see what we're working on, or rather, the first step to what we're working on. He then went poof, signaling he was a shadow clone. Kakashi then walked over to the lake and found Naruto and Hinata there. Alright Naruto, how did you find this place? Hinata looked up, as did Naruto. I merely found it by accident. I was getting away from ninja after a prank, found myself here. Later that day, found out about my heritage, and the next few days, a shitload about my mother. I still don't have much on the personality of my father. All I know is he was a highly noble man, that wouldn't have one of his subordinates make a sacrifice that he, himself, wouldn't. Aside from that, I've got nothing. I can help with that. I know him better than most. Second only to Jiraiya himself, and even that is a close call. Kakashi admitted. What are you really working on? Or should I even know? Trying to fix her problems with a Jikin. Water is her main element, and that's what we're working with, to get her better at it. Kakashi nodded. So you're having her learn a water jutsu first? It's supposed to help her get a feel for water chakra. I had already got it down, so I'm just waiting for her to get through it. Kakashi nodded at that. Kakashi just sat down at the edge of the lake and watched them. Hinata got it down after 20 more minutes. Looks like you've got the jutsu down. Now to answer a question. How does the chakra itself react when using the jutsu? It flows like a river, fast, but smooth, calm, but has a hint of danger to it. Hinata replied. And that's what you need to apply to your jiken. Those with a water affinity tend to be a lot more flexible than those of an earth affinity. Am I right, Kakashi? Naruto asked, earning a nod. So you have to make your strength work for you. Your own version of the jiken. That's what we're going to work on now. Remember that feeling. It will help you in the long run. Hinata then walked over to them both. I don't think I'd be able to continue from here today. Not without rest. She passed out, and Naruto caught her. You worked her to the bone, didn't you? Kakashi asked. No, she was pushing herself past her own limits. I didn't say to do that, and she still did it. She would rather help me than hurt me. I was right in trusting her. She knows about the Kiwabi, as my clone told you, and she still doesn't care. She even cried into my shoulder. Come on, let's head into the cottage. Let her get some proper rest. It's almost time for dinner, and I still got to make it. He carried her bridal style to the cottage, and put her on a bed upstairs. He wrote a note, and put it on the nightstand before leaving to make dinner. Kakashi and Naruto talked a bit about his father, while a shadow clone made the dinner. During this, Hinata came downstairs. Thanks for letting me rest, Naruto. But I'm fine now. Not yet. You're not. Your reserves are nowhere near as high as mine are. You'll need to eat, and wait until tomorrow for anything like that. A clone is currently making dinner, and Kakashi is also eating here, if he wants to. Naruto said. Don't tell me it's ramen. Kakashi deadpanned. Nope. I may be a bit of a ramen nut, but that was because of my upbringing. I could just eat ramen all the time, and learn it to cook. At least it's edible. Naruto shrugged. The clone came into the room. Dinner's ready. The three walked in, and Kakashi was surprised at the spread. Okay, how did you manage to cook all of this? Kakashi asked. Try it out, Naruto said, taking some for himself. Hinata took a few pieces of scalloped potatoes with ham chunks in it. She tasted it, and then continued eating it. Please tell me I did some good with it. You didn't do good, Hinata said. This is far beyond what the Hyuga clan would ever go for. I might have to get you to teach us some recipes if all your food is this good. She beamed at him. Naruto just grabbed his head. Well, I guess that's what happens when you follow the cookbook my mother had. It doesn't have any of her special recipes, one of which happens to be in that bowl right there. He pointed to a bowl of sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes happens to be from her recipe book, not the regular one. I'll taste that one first, Kakashi says, taking a bit. His visible eye widened. How did you manage to get it spot on? Just follow the directions, and you're good. Naruto shrugged off the question with ease. They all finished the entire spread, the majority of it going into Naruto's stomach. Kakashi, you might want to take Hinata home, Naruto said, after a while. I'm still not well liked in the village, so it would be better for her that you bring her home. In the meantime, I'll continue working on some of my father's projects. Kakashi looked at him. Which ones? Are you already in the know? The only one I helped out with at all was the arm cannon. He never finished it, and he was the only one that could. I didn't have full knowledge of it, Kakashi admitted. Well, the arm cannon is no more. It's already finished and renamed, since it did more than he originally thought. He was only hoping for a ranged weapon. Turns out you can scan any weapon, long, mid, or short range. As long as I scan it, I can use it. Thing is, I need to be able to use the weapon properly to use it like that, too. I don't instantly know how to use it with ease. I have to train with the weapon. Shuriken, kunai, my father's special kunai, a katana, and the last one I put in there was senbon. I can throw all but the senbon accurately, but I can shoot all of them, minus the katana, with pinpoint accuracy. I haven't showed it to those at the academy, and I don't plan to. I'm going to try getting you on my team. Being my sensei's son means I can teach you what you can't learn from a scroll. I kind of owe to you for keeping my distance, you know? Kakashi scratched his head. Father trains someone, and that student trains the son. Niece, Naruto said. Thing is, the council is likely to have you train the Uchiha. I've dealt several blows to his pride over the last few days, and they'll keep on coming. And if you're on his team, then you'll know that you have me as a Junin sensei, Kakashi said. If that's the case, then remember I'm late for a reason. Morning. Kakashi nodded at that. Figures. You need to learn to push past their deaths. Move on, but never forget their names. Remember the times where you were all happy. The good memories, not the bad that should help you out. He nodded and they both left. Naruto then got ready and went to bed. A few days later, it was graduation day at the academy. Naruto and Hinata have gotten closer. Hinata even knocked out some of Sasuke's fangirls when they yelled at him. Iruka was pleased that someone else was sticking up for him, even more so that it was the usually shy girl in class. Naruto had managed to pass every portion of the exams, even got top ranks on the stealth portion. No surprise, since he's able to hide from A and B. When it came to jutsu, Naruto performed the shadow clone jutsu, and not the original. He made enough to pass, but that's all. In the end, Naruto graduation scores were the highest, but the rest of the time, his scores the past 5 years put him at the bottom of the year. In the end, he was put in the middle of the class. Naruto and Hinata were now at his place, and she was putting her finishing touches on her Jiken. Naruto was watching every step, noting flaws she had in her form. After each session, he told her what she was doing wrong with the movements themselves. She took those into account and fixed them easily. This was 3 days after they started, and she was basically finished. "You've done good, Hinata. You've got your form perfect, and your movements are like a river flowing fast, yet smooth. The water itself is moving along your body, as well. Try it again, but this time, he made a shadow clone. Do so on my shadow clone. You have to learn how to apply it in combat now. That's the final step." Hinata nodded, and reminded herself that this was a clone. Taijutsu only. Begin. Hinata knew that she wouldn't be able to hold her defensively, so she started to attack, but kept her guard up. The blows went back and forth, and neither could get a good hit in. It was always a dodge, or a block. Don't hold back, Hinata. Remember your drive. Picture your opponent as someone that gets in the way of your drive, and take them down to move on. Naruto shouted. It doesn't matter who it is in reality. Hinata's moves were subtly more dangerous. The original Naruto was watching, and noticed the difference. She was a lot more beautiful in her moves, almost like a dancer. At the same time, they were deadly. The clone went down, and 3 more were already made and started attacking her. She did the same thing and took them down easily. 9 more came up, only to fall down within 30 seconds. Hinata was running low on chakra, and was about to pass out. "Okay, that's enough." Hinata came out of her trance at the voice. Naruto walked up to her, since she was on the water. "You did a lot better than you did beforehand. Remember, your opponent is always an obstacle. Picture them as something that stops your drive in its tracks, and use that to take them down," Naruto told her, as he helped her out of the area and into the cottage. A clone had made a light dinner, and was finishing up as they entered. "Hey boss, food's ready when you are." Naruto nodded, and they both sat down. Hinata started eating ravenously. Naruto saw this, and picked up his pace with the eating. They devoured the entire spread themselves. Afterwards, they sat down in the library and started reading. Kakashi came in again, and Naruto noticed. In response, he sent a mental command to a clone and he met him out there, to find out what was up, and then dispel. "Mizuki is an idiot," Naruto said. "Hinata, you want a real-time test for your style?" "Why not? I could use it," Hinata said. "You coming along?" "You know it." Naruto and Hinata got up, suited up, and left the clearing to intercept him. Kakashi followed them from afar, sporting an Ainu mask. Hinata and Naruto found him easily. One by his chakra, the other by his scent. They met him before he managed to get an hour away from the village. Naruto's left arm turned into a cylinder, and Hinata noticed. She made a mental note to ask what it was later. They converged on his location, and found Iruka holding him off. "Shut up and die!" Mizuki shouted to the already injured Iruka. He was spinning a Fuma shuriken, but didn't get to throw it due to the hail of kunai Naruto shot. He had to dodge the hail, only to find that Hinata managed to predict his movement and she managed to shut down his arms, before having to back off. Iruka was surprised when he saw Hinata try to take on Mizuki, but figured that she wasn't dumb enough to come alone. His thoughts were proven correct when Naruto came down, katana in his right hand, and made Mizuki jump back. "Hinata, that scroll on his back." "The objective?" Hinata asked. "That's it." Iruka saw them talk, but was surprised they came here. "Guys, get out of here." "Iruka-sensei, you're already injured. You're one of the few people that I know I can trust. One of the only ones that are precious to me. He did this to you, and now we're going to return the favor," Naruto told him over his shoulder. "So, the little fox comes out of hiding," Mizuki said, glaring at Naruto. "Shut the hell up, you bitch," Hinata said, surprising them all with her language. "You tried to get Naruto to fail just so you could kill him after he took that scroll on your back." "Naruto, The Sandaime was right when he said the villagers can't tell the difference between the host and the sealed. You possess the Hyuga, Mizuki roared. He didn't possess me, Hinata said. Naruto, stay back. Naruto and Iruka found something in that tone that they never thought they'd ever hear. Hinata Hyuga was pissed. Okay, but remember, I'm here if you need help. Naruto stepped back, the katana disappearing. Hinata charged Mizuki. Knowing that he was a threat to Naruto, she immobilized him with moves not even he has seen a Hyuga use. He was on his knees quickly. No last words for the damned. She landed a strike right to his lung. She walked back to Naruto. He's still alive, but he won't be for long. You want a few shots? Naruto shrugged. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 20 shadow clones appeared and started pummeling Mizuki's prone body. An Anbu came up to them. Impressive. I'll take the scroll back to the Hokage, along with the body. The Anbu, which Naruto could tell was Kakashi in an Ainu mask, said, "We'll take Iruka-sensei to the hospital. He'll need some kind of healing." Naruto said. They all split up and went where they were supposed to. Hokage's tower. Sarutobi was pleased that Mizuki was captured, but was a little surprised at the report of his death. And yes, he was dead. Jigen strike to the right lung, combined with non-lethal pounding of 20 shadow clones. That's what it was, sir. Ainu said. Iruka Umino was injured and the two took him to the hospital for medical treatment. Just then, Naruto's clone came in. Gigi, Iruka-sensei is going to be fine. There was nothing major, just a few lacerations. Hinata is already on her way home. Her family is already suspicious of her activities, and she realized it. She's been skipping her own dinner with her family recently, and they're trying to find out why. She hasn't told them why yet, and doesn't plan to, apparently. Naruto, you're one sly dog. I believe the politically correct term is fox. That's what a sly dog is, Naruto said. Also, I believe it would be a good idea for me and Hinata to be on a team. It's for her benefit, as well as mine. With tonight's performance, I believe it would be a good idea myself, Ainu said. I see. However, to please a certain Junin you'd have to have Sasuke Uchiha on your team, Sarutobi said. I'll work out a few kinks. Thanks Gigi. Naruto then went poof. Are you sure about this? Ainu? Completely. I'd prefer not to teach an arrogant bastard, regardless of the council's decision, Ainu replied. That's the end of this part guys. If you want the next part then like, subscribe and leave a comment saying so. This is Maelstrom signing off.